What up, y'all? And we're back with another video. Playing is officially over, so now we are at the most wonderful time of the year, and I'm not talking about Christmas. As a sports fan, anytime it's NFL, NBA playoffs, shoot, even the MLB playoffs, most exciting times of the year. So, we're gonna go ahead and let's recap a little bit of the playing, man. I want to say first and foremost, I am super proud of this Oklahoma City Thunder team. Fortunately, they weren't able to get it done, so that's a sad thing. So they got a really bright future on their hands. I'm happy that Minnesota was actually able to get it done, and Edwards was able to bounce back from a horrific game versus the Lakers. Rudy Gobert for suspension, 21-10. Um, I'm happy to see where they're at. I wish they had Jaden McDaniels. I feel like that would have been a big thing for them, as well as Nas Reed. I wish they were healthy. So I really wish the series would have been a little bit more interesting with their next opponent. And then Chicago Bulls, man. I think it's time to blow it up in Chicago. The DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine thing is definitely not working. Um, they got out of it. They didn't get out. 10 seed. Shout out to both of the 10 seeds winning their matchups, making the playing a little bit interesting this year. And Miami Heat. As a Miami Heat fan, Bam grabbed 17 rebounds, but he didn't. I just hate the way Bam looks when he's trying to score offensively. It just hurts my eyes to watch him. I watch him go against Vooch tonight, and you know he would be dribbling the ball on fast break, and I feel like he has a way. Maybe it's silly me. Maybe I don't see what he sees, and maybe I can see it better on TV. But I feel like he's more athletic, can dribble the ball a little bit. He should be able to get past Vooch, but he's looking around for Either way, the Miami Heat did win and go on to become the eighth seed, and they will be playing the Bucks in round one. So, you know, a masterclass by Max Strus. Hopefully, him and Jimmy Butler both have 31 combined for 62 points. Those two really took over the game, especially Jimmy. Jimmy was here and there in each and every quarter, but towards the end of the fourth quarter, Jimmy became Jimmy. Started being a pest on defense, getting some steals, getting to the rack, getting to the free throw line. Jimmy started to be Jimmy. So, happy to see the Heat get into the playoffs. Let's see what they can do. So we're here. The purpose of this video is to give our first round predictions. So we're gonna start Eastern Conference, 1 seed through 8 seed, Miami Heat versus the Bucks. So Giannis doesn't typically always play his best games versus the Miami Heat, but this is also the Miami Heat team that is much smaller. In the past, even though we always been small with Bam, Miami Heat have always been small with Bam. I said we, but I'm like, Miami Heat always been small with Bam in the past, but they always had a nice wing rotation. Like example, when they made it to the finals in 2020, they had Andre Iguodala, they had Jimmy, they had Jay Crowder. You know, those were the rotation pieces that they could put in and out. Obviously, you had Bam, you still had Deadman. You know, you had some rotation pieces at the least though. And then you fast forward to 2021. Don't really have those rotation pieces. Andre Iguodala's still there. Crowder's gone. Lose him. And then last year, you had PJ Tucker. This year, you really don't have those key rotation wings at the small forward and power forward for you to even help relieve Bam. Sometimes you can go small. And I think it's going to be really hard to build a wall versus this team, especially the Giannis that we've been seeing. It's definitely a different Giannis from 2020 and 2021. But at the same time, it's still Giannis. He's a lot better, and he's going to be the best player in the series. Um, but then he do have the second best player. But then the Bucks have the third best player, in my eyes, with Drew Holiday, and Chris Middleton's not healthy, so I can't give him fourth. So I guess you would say Bam is the fourth best player, or are we taking Bam over Brook Lopez? Um, do I see Spoelstra being able to outcoach Budenholzer? Yeah. But the thing that happened like tonight, the Miami Heat in their game and theme last season is they haven't, this whole season, they haven't been able to hit threes like they have in the past. And Tyler Hero, hit or miss. Everyone else is hit or miss on the team. Max Strus had a big game, but in the first playing game versus the Hawks, he wasn't the same. And then the thing that killed even tonight, you can see Andre Drummond come in the game, get some good offensive boards, and the Bulls take a lead. Now you have Bobby Portis, Giannis, and Brooke Lopez that are going to crash off of the boards offensively. So I do think, as much as I want to root for the Heat as a fan, I do think the series will be over in about 5 or 6. I'm gonna be generous and give the Heat, the Heat fan in me is going to say the Heat will lose this in 6 games. So I got the Bucks in 6 advancing to the next round. Next matchup is the second seed versus 7th seed, which is Atlanta Hawks, the 7th seed versus the Boston Celtics. I think this is going to be a fairly easy series for the Boston Celtics. I think they're kind of happy that they're not having to go against Miami. That would have been a little bit tougher on them. So, I have the Boston Celtics winning in this series in 5. I think Trae Young is good enough. Trae Young, DeJounte Murray, I think they're good enough to get one game, at least one game. But I think this is going to be first. Even though Jason Tatum numbers aren't the best versus the Hawks, his numbers actually go down. And Trae Young number goes up versus them. But I think it's playoff time. Going to really locked in. And I got the Celtics winning in 5 games. The next series, the 3 and 6 seed, is the Sixers versus the Nets. I love what this Nets team has been doing. I love when teams, don't have really a budding star. Even though you got Mikal Bridges sending himself up into that potentially. At the end of the day, James Harden, Tyrese Maxey, and to me, the MVP of the league, Joel Embiid, is a little too much for this team. So I'm going to give it to the Sixers, and I think the Sixers should easily win this in a sweep. So I have the Sixers beating the Nets in 4 games. Now let's go to the 4 versus 5 seed, which is the Cleveland Cavaliers versus the New York Knicks. A lot of people think the Knicks can really make this a series, really make this a thing. I do not think so. I think Donovan Mitchell. I think the Knicks are not going to have any answer for Donovan Mitchell. I think Evan Mobley and Jared Allen will be able to slow down Julius Randle. I think I do see Jalen Brunson have a good series, but I think Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell are just going to end up being too much. And I do have the Cavs winning this series in 5 games. I'm going to give the Knicks some type of love and say they're going to lose. They're going to win at least one game. Probably game 3 after the Cavs are up 2-0. So I have the Cavs winning. So let's recap in the Eastern Conference. I got 1 through 8 seed. I got the 1st seed advancing. Got the 2nd seed advancing. Got the 3rd seed advancing. And got the 4th seed advancing. I think 1, 2, 3, and 4 are all going to advance in the East. Now let's get over to the West. I think the Timberwolves can make this Nuggets series, if Cat comes to play, an actual really good series. Jamal Murray isn't the same Jamal Murray, but we'll learn in his first round as it's his playoff Murray. Potentially. They don't. I think Mike Conley can be really effective if they run a lot of pick and roll with his shooting, and Anthony Edwards as well. So, I think that they can be really effective, and they can really, between the two of them, can cause some difficulties for Jokic. They do got some bodies. Kyle Anderson you can throw at Jokic. You got obviously Cat, Rudy Gobert. Throw those guys at Jokic as well. So I have them. I have the Nuggets winning, but I think it's gonna be a tougher series than a lot of people predict. I got the Nuggets in 6. 2 versus 17. This is the most intriguing matchup. It's Lakers, the 7th seed, versus the Grizzlies, and the Grizzlies are coming in looking like the underdog. I watched this Lakers team, and I was worried from what I saw when they played the Timberwolves with a wounded dog, and we all know the Lakers go as far as Anthony Davis can take them, right? Steven Adams is more likely not going to play this series, so that means Jaren Jackson's going to have to get a lot of 5-man minutes. And I don't know. I am worried about Jaren Jackson. I am worried about Jaren Jackson and his foul troubles. I'm also worried about the Grizzlies' half-court offense, which is one of the worst in the league. And the Lakers have one of the best half-court defenses in the league. So that's still going to be a trend. As we saw in the Timberwolves game, that Timberwolves defense stopped. So the key for the Lakers is going to be make sure that this young team is not good in transition a lot on them, and to slow down the pace of the game because that works in their favor. The only thing I don't like is if Braun isn't in Braun mode, there's not a lot of rim pressure, um, which I think Braun will be in that mode. But obviously, Braun's 38, so like he got to conserve some of the energy. I love John Morant. I think John Morant can do some really good things. But again, this half-court offense is literally John Morant or bust. And the Grizzlies do have a great defense. But do I think AD can outplay Jaren Jackson? Well, he's going to have to be. AD's going to have to outplay Jaren Jackson and John Morant, in fact, for the Lakers to win this. And do I believe AD can do that? I do. So with that being said, I do got the Lakers winning this in 6. I don't really. They're 7 seeds, so it's technically an upset, but I don't think it's an upset. Next one, series 3 versus 6. The Kings versus the Sixers. The Warriors. The Warriors they finished the season on a strong note, looking really good, and a lot of people are picking them above the Kings because the Kings' defense isn't where it needs to be. I'm having some tough difficulties with this series. I think this is going to be one of the closer series. I actually think this is going to be one of the two first round matchups that I do think is going to go to Game 7. And I'm gonna have to go with the Kings. I think the Kings get it done in Game 7 versus the Warriors. So I got the Kings in 7. Gonna be a hard fought series. They're gonna go back and forth, but at the end of the day, I think the most clutch player in the league right now, based on this year, is De'Aaron Fox, and I don't think the Warriors really are gonna have something for him as a bonus. So, especially in the fourth quarter when everyone gets tired, the De'Aaron tends to pick it up. I do like. But to me, the X factor for the series is Malik Monk. How is he going to come off the bench? How is he going to spark that offense off the bench? I think he can be a really pivotal player in this series. But I do have those Kings winning the 3-6 matchup and moving forward to the second round. The 4-5 matchup, which I think is probably really the preview of what could be a Western Conference Finals. This is one of the hardest series to pick for me. I'm a big Russell Westbrook fan. No Paul George. But then again, you look at the Suns. They're undefeated with KD, but who have they really played with KD? Not a lot of good competition. We all know why we have playoff Jimmy. There's also a thing called playoff Kawhi. And the last time we saw Kawhi in the playoffs, albeit may 2 years ago, versus the Mavs, he was ungodly. He was unstoppable. He was perfection. And KD is KD. And I love the depth of the Clippers, especially now that you have a backup big man in Plumlee. When he comes in and gives you some good energy, some good minutes. Norman Powell off the bench, Eric Gordon off the bench, Terrence Mann obviously off the bench, and you have Russell Westbrook. I do think Russell Westbrook and Kawhi get it done. I have them beating the Suns in 6. I don't think the series goes to 7. I thought about it now. I do have them beating in 6, and then they get a healthy healthy Paul George in round 2. But yeah, I got the Clips winning in 6. I just think this is if people are overlooking them and just taking them out. But I think Russell Westbrook is going to show us some things, and we're going to learn a lot of things about him and Kawhi, Norman Powell, and the crew. So those are my first round predictions. So the recap: in the East, I have the Bucks. I have the Bucks, Celtics, Sixers, and Cavs advancing, and then I have the Nuggets, Lakers, Kings, and Clippers advancing. So in the East is 1 through 4, but in the West things kind of get shaken up because that's how close the West was. So, that's what we're gonna do. I'm definitely gonna give you guys a recap after every night of playoffs. So we got 4 games today, 4 games coming up today. So I'm super excited about that. Sit down, watch all those games. My wife's probably gonna hate me, but hey. Till next time, my name is Wayne, and I go crazy.